Let's be honest. Dating, it can be, kind of a puzzle sometimes. You put yourself out there, try to connect with someone, but uh, it often feels like there's just something missing, like a piece of the puzzle.
Mm. You're speaking different languages almost.
Exactly. Like there's this secret code to understanding men that, I don't know, maybe nobody ever taught us.
Right.
But what if I told you there might actually be a code that we could crack it? Well, today we're doing a deep dive into his secret obsession. It's a program made by this relationship coach, James Bauer, and it basically says it unlocks the secrets to attraction and love that lasts.
Yeah, and Bauer, he spent years working with women, all different kinds of women, actually,
Right.
helping them figure out relationships, from like rekindling that spark if you've been together a while to attracting someone new.
So his whole program, it kind of hinges on this idea, this concept called, get this, the hero instinct.
Yeah.
Basically saying that men, they have this need, this really deep need to feel like a hero, like even stronger than the need for, well, you know,
Yeah, it's not about catering to their ego or anything like that or acting helpless. It's more about understanding something very fundamental to men in relationships.
okay, so this is where things get interesting.
Yeah.
Bauer, he illustrates this idea with a story about a woman named Rachel.
Okay.
Now, Rachel's story is pretty familiar. She meets this guy, Mike, falls head over heels, and everything is, amazing at first for a few months. But then, I swear, it's like clockwork. Mike just goes cold, no calls, ignores her texts, the whole
Oh
disappearing
yeah,
act.
that agonizing silence.
Yeah.
Like so confused. Right, like what did I do?
Right. And Rachel's about to give up hope when, out of nowhere, Mike reappears.
Yeah.
Comes back saying how much he needs her, can't live without her, that whole thing.
Classic.
But here's where it gets interesting. According to Bauer, Mike's sudden change of heart, it wasn't just random. It was actually because of Rachel.
Even though she didn't even realize it.
Exactly. This is where the hero instinct comes into play. So what exactly is the hero instinct, and how did Rachel, without knowing, trigger it in Mike? Well, we'll unpack all of that right after this.
Okay, so this hero instinct, well, how Bauer describes it is, it's basically like this deep desire men have to feel needed. You know, like they're respected, they matter in the relationship, like they're the provider, the protector, the one making a difference.
So not a superhero in a cape, but more like fulfilling those core, I guess, masculine desires, but like in a way that makes sense for today.
Right, right. And it's not about manipulating men or pushing them back into, like old-fashioned roles. It's more like trying to get this fundamental part of how they think and finding good ways, healthy ways to nurture that in a relationship.
Okay, got it. But back to Rachel and Mike. What did she do, even accidentally, to like flip this hero instinct switch?
So Bauer says there are these specific signals women can send. They're not tricks or anything, but more about how you talk, how you act, things that make a man feel valued, like he's appreciated, making a difference.
Okay, so tell me, what are some of these secret signals that unleash the inner hero, so to speak?
One he talks about a lot is the glimpse phrase. Basically, it's you subtly reveal your true self, your vulnerabilities, what you hope for, but in a way that makes him curious and wanting more.
So not playing hard to get, it's more like little peeks into who you really are in a way
Yeah.
that's intriguing.
Exactly. It's like a little mystery showing you have depth. You're not just putting it all out there right away. More like giving him a peek behind the curtain, inviting him to discover more.
That makes sense. Like taps into our human desire, for the unknown, that thrill of uncovering something special.
Exactly. You're not just anyone. You're like this fascinating puzzle he wants to solve.
I like that. So how do you actually use this glimpse phrase? Is it specific words or just like the way you talk in general?
It can be both, actually. Bauer gives some exact phrases, but you can tweak them to fit you and your situation. It's about hinting at, say, your passions or what you're afraid of, even stuff from your past, but in a way that invites him to ask more, like you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, leading him deeper into your world.
That is powerful.
Yeah.
You're not saying everything outright, but you're making him want to learn more, building that anticipation. This whole secret signals thing, though, it makes me wonder if these signals tap into something so, like, basic in men. Why don't we learn this stuff earlier? Why does it feel like such a secret?
That's a good point. And I think it's because a lot of times we go into relationships with all these assumptions. And, society tells us how things should be. We get stuck on the surface stuff, following rules that don't actually help relationships grow.
Like trying to solve some complicated math problem, but with the wrong formula.
Exactly. That's why I think getting these underlying psychology things like hero instinct can change everything. It's about understanding what really makes people connect, what creates attraction.
Okay, so glimpse phrase, check. What other secret signals can tap into this hero instinct?
Another interesting one is the fascination signal. This is about, showing off what makes you unique, your passions, in a way that makes you stand out.
So let your freak flag fly
Yeah.
from what makes you you.
Yeah, exactly. But not in a bragging way. It's more about subtly conveying the things that make you, well, fascinating, the things that set you apart. It plays on the psychology thing, scarcity. When something's rare, unique, it becomes way more desirable.
So if you're an artist, don't be shy about your work. Love rescuing animals. Let that part of you shine.
Right. It's letting those passions come through, showing him how deep and complex you are. And this ties into the hero instinct because, well, it gives him a chance to really admire those qualities in you.
Like offering a glimpse into a world he wouldn't normally see. You're not just a date. You're an adventure, an experience.
Precisely. Now, another signal Bauer mentions is the damsel in distress signal. Might sound a little iffy at first, but stick with me on this.
Yeah, that one does sound a bit tricky. We don't want women feeling helpless or starting drama.
No, not at all. It's not about playing victim or being overly dependent. It's more about, well, strategically and genuinely asking for help in a way that makes him feel valued and capable.
So acknowledging that men have this natural desire to protect, to provide, and sometimes letting them do that, even in small ways,
Yeah.
it actually makes the connection stronger.
Exactly. It's not needing rescue from like a burning building or anything. Could be something simple, asking for help with a heavy box or wanting his advice on something for work. It's giving him the chance to step up, be your hero, even in everyday stuff.
And that way you're showing you trust his abilities, making him feel like he's truly making a difference.
Exactly. It feeds into that core desire to be needed and appreciated. But, and this is key, it's about balance. You don't want to always be asking for help or seem helpless. It's about, well, strategically creating those moments for him to feel like your hero in a way that feels real for both of you.
So not faking it or tricking him into doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's about uh, understanding how men think
Yeah.
and using that to build a deeper connection.
Right. Being aware of how we communicate, even the subtle stuff, and how that affects our relationships.
I like that. We're going to dive deeper into these secret signals and what this hero instinct really means after a quick break. Okay, so we talked about these secret signals and how they can, tap into that hero instinct. But I got to ask, does this actually work? Is there like proof to back this up?
Right. That's the big question. I mean, Bauer, he makes a good case. He has all these success stories from his clients, talks about them a lot, and he actually offers a money-back guarantee on his program.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting. But like with any advice, I think, you got to be smart about it. What works for one person might not work for everyone, right?
Oh, absolutely. No relationship advice is like a magic wand or anything. Relationships are complicated. They take effort, understanding from both people.
Exactly. It's not about tricking someone into loving you or making them fit into some like mold. It's about figuring out what actually makes a relationship healthy and happy and finding ways to grow those things, but in a way that feels real, for both of you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what makes this whole hero instinct idea so interesting. It's not about like turning guys into superheroes. It's about recognizing what they want deep down, that desire to protect, to provide, to really matter, and then figuring out how to honor those things in a relationship.
Creating a situation where everyone feels appreciated, valued, like they're important to each other.
That's it. And when both people feel that way, it creates a deeper connection, more intimacy, commitment, all of that.
So no games, no tricks, just understanding what creates real connection.
Right. And realizing that sometimes men and women, they show love differently.
So for our listeners out there, how can they start like using these ideas in their own relationships? Where do they begin?
Well, I think a good first step is to just be more aware
Huh.
of how you talk, how you act in your relationship. Notice those little signals you're sending with your words and, even your body language. Are you giving your partner chances to feel like a hero in your life? Are you showing him that you're grateful for what he does?
Being more mindful and remembering that even small things can make a difference.
Exactly. It's not always about these grand romantic gestures. It's the everyday stuff that shows you care, you value him, that you're happy's in your life.
So instead of just saying thank you, you could say, wow, that was so thoughtful of you. You really made my day.
Exactly. It's about making him feel seen, appreciated.
And remembering that sometimes actions speak louder than words. So noticing those actions can go a long way.
Absolutely. And creating a space where he feels safe, supported, where he can be himself, even the not so perfect parts without feeling judged.
Because when a guy feels that kind of trust, acceptance from his partner, it makes his love stronger, makes him want to commit. It's like he can finally be himself.
Yeah, that's it. And that's really the foundation for a strong, lasting relationship.
I love that. It seems like this whole hero instinct thing, it's about understanding how men think and finding ways to, well, to meet those needs, but in a way that feels good for everyone.
Right. It's not about manipulation or control. It's about both people feeling happy and fulfilled.
And knowing that relationships, they're a journey, not a destination. You got to keep working, keep communicating, be open to learning and growing together.
Absolutely. So if you want a stronger bond with your partner, or if you're looking for someone new, someone who truly gets you, well, this hero instinct is worth exploring.
It's a really fascinating way to look at relationships. You might be surprised by what you learn.
And if you want to dig deeper into James Bauer stuff, we have a link in the show notes. It goes to his program, so you can check it out.
That's right. Remember, you have the power to create the love you want. To learn more about James Bauer's program, just tap the link below to visit his website.